So now we're doing freeCodeCamp, scientific computing with Python beta, build an arithmetic formatter project. All right. So with this one, students in primary school or elementary school, as we Americans like to call it, often arrange arithmetic problems vertically to make them easier to solve. For example, 235 plus 52 becomes this. All right. Do we want to add it up? No, we don't. We're going to finish the arithmetic arranger function, this thing right here, that receives a list of strings, which are arithmetic problems, and returns the problems arranged vertically and side by side. Right? This kind of confused me at the first part, but they're just talking about vertically like this and then next to each other like that, all right? The function should optionally take a second argument, and when the second argument is set to true, the answers should be displayed, all right? So it's this show answers equals false. When it's set to true, it'll drop answers off like this, right? So here's the first example. We've got all these right here. We can see it's just like this, no answers. And then we've got function call like that, where it's true, and we can see it does show the answers thusly, right? So here are the rules for the thing. The function will return the correct conversion if the supplied problems are properly formatted. Otherwise, it will return a string that describes an error that is meaningful to the user. Also, before we go any further, because I just thought of it, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, come and check out my live stream because it's not that good, but you know, let's keep this let's keep the thing rolling. Let's keep the good times rolling, right? 8:30 p.m. Saturday through Thursday. Anyway, let's get back to it. Situations that will return an error. If there are too many problems supplied to the function, I should get like a logo or slap it on the screen and then take it off. Anyway, whatever. So if there are too many problems supplied to the function, the limit is 5. Anything more will return error, too many problems. So we can only have 5 right here inside of this thing, right? So this one's got 4. I'll show you what happens later when we have 6. The appropriate operators, the function will accept our addition and subtraction. Multiplication and division will return an error. Other operators not mentioned in this bullet point will not need to be tested, right? So we're only going to be testing to see if multiplication and division is there. Then if it is, we'll just throw an error, right? We don't need any like double multiplication or floor division or anything like this, or modulo, anything checking like that. Anything to check those things. So the error returned will be error operator must be plus or minus, right? Each number or operand should only contain digits. Otherwise, the function will return error. Number must only contain digits. Each operand, aka number on each side of the operator, has a max of 4 digits in width. All right, so like right here we see we've got 9999 right here, 9999, and that's basically what they're talking about here, right? And this is going to be 5 digits because this plus this equals this, but still that's what they're talking about. Where are we? Otherwise, it will return the error. Error numbers must only contain error numbers cannot be more than 4 digits. All right, cool. So here's the rules of the guts of the problem of the algorithm. So if the user supplied the correct format of problems, the conversion we return will follow these rules. So there should be a single space between the operator and the longest of the 2 operands. The operator will be on the same line as the second operand. Both operands will be in the same order as provided. The first will be on top and the second will be on the bottom, right? So single space between, they're talking about this single space right here. So right here, this space right here, all right? What else does it say? Both will be in the same order as provided. So if this is first, it's going first. It's not like the biggest is on top. What else does it say? The operator, and then that's pretty much both operands will be in the same order. The operator will be on the same line as the second operator. Okay, so this is going to be always on the second line, not on the top line. All right, cool. So here's the second part. Numbers should be right aligned. So we see they're all right aligned thusly. There should be 4 spaces between each problem. So there's going to be 4 here, 4 here. That was 3. 4 here. But there's not going to be any after and not any before, all right? And there should be dashes at the bottom of each problem. The dashes should run along the entire length of each problem individually, all right? So from the operand to the last digit. That's how many dashes we're going to have. All right. So that's pretty much it for the rules and whatever. All right. So how we're going to start this thing is we're going to start by taking care of these edge cases first, the top ones, like these error situations. So as we've seen in the previous Python courses so far, what we're going to do is we're going to do a lot of commenting on this. I think that's probably a big thing in the Python community. So we'll start off with this first one. We'll drop this down 2 like that. Actually, we'll drop it down 1. And we'll start with #1, all right? So it's like number 1, something like that. So what we're going to do first is if there are too many problems supplied to the function, the limit is 5. Anything more will return this error, right? So we're going to check, oh, that's not it. Check the length of the parameter. Boom. All right. So for this one, all we're going to do is we're going to do an if, and we're going to see if the length of this, so this list right here, is less than 5, right? Yes. So we'll say right here, we'll go if len problems, all right, is less than 5. What we're going to do is we'll say return error too many problems, period. Just like that, right? So it's already returning that. Oh, no, a lot less than 5 if it's greater than 5. Boom. All right, so right now it's returning this thing right here, but let's take these last 2 with this comma, copy it, throw them on here, so it's now 6, and we see error too many problems, thusly. So we do know this works. So let's get rid of that. Let's go on to the second thing, all right? So we'll come down here to the next line, to line 6, and we're going to say #2, all right? We'll say check the operand, because the appropriate operators, the function will accept our addition and subtraction. So multiplication and division will return an error. So we're just going to check to see if any of these are multiplication or division signs. We don't have to worry about modulo or anything like that, right? So for that, we're definitely going to have to loop through this list right here and break these apart so that we can have numbers and operators in their own thing, right? So we'll start off with a for loop. We'll say for. And then we'll do, just like we've been doing in the courses before this, we're going to say, since we're doing problems, we'll say for problem, let's come up here, for problem in problems, okay? What we'll do is we'll say, what are we going to do first, all right? So we want to split this up, okay? We want to split this thing up right here. And put these, we would put all these operators, I should say, in their own little array or their own little list, right? But the thing is, we can't just name it list because that's a keyword. So we'll just name this array. How about that? I mean, we've all done JavaScript before this, so we know what arrays are. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go through each problem in problems, and we're going to say problem. And how do we split this up? Believe it or not, there's a split method, all right? So let's go check that out because I don't think we've gone over that split method in the courses yet. I don't think we've gone over this. And I found that Geeks for Geeks is actually better. They've got more tech-related ads instead of whatever random mishmash Programmese has. But anyway, the Python string split method splits a string into a list of strings after breaking the given string by the specified separator. For example, we've got this right here. And we're breaking it up by commas, right? But the thing is, if the string, this is a good one, honestly. Let's go see here. Oh, we got Geeks for Geeks right here. If the default is that it splits it by the spaces, unlike with the split method in JavaScript, where the default will just put the whole string in the array, all right? So if we leave the separator out, it'll just split the string by the spaces. So that's what we'll do here. We'll say problem dot split. How about that? All right. So now let's come down here. And while we're inside of this, let's say print array. All right, and you can see we've got these lists right here with every single the number on this side, on the left side, the operator, and then the operand on the right side, right? In each one of these little lists. Okay, so now that we've got that, what we want to do is we want to access all of these and put them in their own little list, right? So before this thing right here, before the for loop, let's declare a little list. And let's call it, what should we call it? Let's call it operators. Operators equals brackets like this. So an empty list. So what we're going to do now is we're going to say operators dot append. All right. It's just like the push method in JavaScript. We're going to append array at 1. Right. So 0, 1. All the operators in here. So now let's print out operators. Let's bring this down, actually. Let's actually bring it this way and say operators. Operators. Boom. And we can see we've got plus, minus, plus, 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 minus, plus, plus in this operators list, okay? So now that we've got that, now we're going to iterate through this thing right here using a for loop. So we'll come down here and we'll say for operator in operators, right? Because that's how we do it. And inside of this, we're going to say, we're going to check if either of the operators are either a multiplication sign or a division sign. So we'll say something like this. We'll say if operator in, and then we're going to make a little list right here, and we'll have the first thing in it be the multiplication sign, and we'll have the second thing be the division sign like this. Let's get that a little bit more formatted. All right. So if this is the case, because it's going to check if the operator is either this or this, we don't have to do like a, whatever that method is that we have to do, like index up. I don't even remember what the method is in JavaScript, but it just does it automatically right here in Python. So if the operator, so if one of these, well, you know, if the plus sign is in here, what we're going to do is we're going to return the error. So we'll say error. Let's just grab this. Return error. And what are we going to say? We're going to say operator must be plus or minus. So operator must be plus or minus. All right. So to check that, what we're going to do, what's going on here? Oh, tab this over because it's inside this if. All right. So to check this, let's just turn this plus sign into a multiplication sign. Boom. Operator must be plus or minus. So we know that this works. All right. So we got 2 down. Let's turn this back to a plus sign so we can keep testing stuff later. All right. So let's go and let's do the next one. All right. So let's start here on 16. And what we're going to do is we're going to check to see if each number or operand only contains digits. Otherwise, we'll throw this error. All right, cool. So we'll say #3, number 3, check for non-hyphen digits. All right. So for this one, what we're going to do is we're going to go through problem and problems again. All right. But this time we're going to put the numbers, these numbers. Hold on. Let's go. Anyway, this time we're going to put the numbers in there instead of the operands, right? So instead of the operators, I should say, we'll put the operands instead of the operators. So let's just grab this for loop right here because we're going to be using array again. And let's actually grab it all the way up to the end of 6 and just change operators while we're at it, right? So let's grab this and drop it here at the end of 16 thusly, right? Let's drop this down. All right, so we're going to change operators here to numbers. And then we're going to say array equals problem.split like this. So we've got this same array going on again. And what we're going to do for this one is instead of operators.append, let's grab this while we're at it. Why not? We'll call it what should we do here? We'll do numbers dot append. So we're doing numbers here, dot append array at 0. And let's grab this, copy it, drop it, and put array at 2. And then let's come down here and check out what numbers looks like now that we've done this. All right. And you can see instead of the operands in there, we've got all these numbers in here, right? So that's the first part of this. So since we're checking for the non-digits, now we're going to go through this list and find out if any of these are not numbers, right? So we'll come down here after this for loop, and we're going to do an if statement. So we'll say if. No, pardon me. We're going to do another, we're going to iterate through this right here, and then we'll do an if statement. So we'll say for numbers, number in numbers, all right? And then we're going to say if, and then we're going to use the not operator, so not, and we're going to say, we're going to use the isDigit method on this to check the thing. So we're going to come over here. I don't know if we did isDigit yet, but we're going to check it over here. And we'll go isDigit. All right. And so we'll check over here. We'll see the isDigit method right there. Come over here. And the Python string isDigit method returns true if all characters in the string are digits. Otherwise, it returns false. All right. So if not, isDigit, number, come on now, dot isDigit. If it's not a digit, if the number isn't a digit, what we're going to do is return this error. Number must only contain digits. So let's grab this here, copy it, drop it, and we'll say number must only contain digits. So we'll say number must only contain digits. All right. So that should be good, but let's come down here and check it. So let's just add a letter inside of this 32. Boom, like that. Okay, look, number must only contain digits. We're good on that end. All right. So that's the third thing. Now let's do the fourth thing after this. Let's drop this down 1, 2 times. Bring it over here. Say number 4. Nope, number 4. What we're going to do now is each operand has a max of 4 digits in width. Otherwise, it throws an error, right? So we'll say check operand length. All right. So for this one, we're still going to be inside of, actually, no. What are we going to do here? Should we stay inside of this and do an elif? Let's do an elif inside of this. It might be a little bit better. Let's come down here 1, bring it back, elif. Let's just see if it works, because I didn't do this in rehearsal. So let's say elif len number is greater than 4. All right. Let's return the error. Return error, and we'll return numbers cannot be more than 4 digits. Numbers cannot be more than 4 digits. All right. So let's add a number to 3801. Ha ha ha. All right, cool. So there we go. We'll put this check operand length. I guess, can we put it in between? And it's no big deal. Yeah, we can. All right, cool. So we can put it in between there. No big deal. All right. So now we've got that going on like that. So we've got this if not, elif, boom. And so we're pretty much done with all of the edge cases right here. Actually, we are done with all the edge cases. Now we can go to the guts of the algorithm. All right. So let's get rid of this print. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. All right. And so now we're going to do this stuff. So we've got all this stuff here. We already read it. We can look at the thing right here to see what we got to do, but it's going to kind of be in a different order than this stuff, right? Because first things first, we need to calculate all these, and it didn't say to calculate all of them, but we're going to need to calculate all these. So what we're going to need to do is we'll come down here onto the line 30. We'll say hashtag. We'll say number 5. What we're going to do is evaluate. We'll do an evaluation. Okay. So for this one, we're going to declare all of our variables right now, right? So what we're going to need for this is we're going to need an answers. We're going to need an answers list. All right. It's going to be an empty list. And then we're going to also have a bunch of empty strings. We're going to have a top row, top underscore row empty string equals, actually, let's do this top row, bottom underscore row. We'll do dashes, and then we'll do answer underscore row. Actually, let's switch these two up. All right. And let's click the end of 32, hold down Alt and click the end of 33, at the end of 34 and 35. Let's say that all these are going to equal an empty string like that, right? So now we've got all those going on. So after that, what we're going to do is we're going to start off by going through, let's print numbers again. By going through this numbers list, all right? So because we have to say this plus this. Now there is actually an eval. Let me show you. Let's come over here and say eval. Eval function. See if we can't find it. All right, right here. So there is actually an eval function right here that we could just plug in like 2 plus 2, string 2 plus 2 and whatever. But the thing is, does it say it in here? The thing is, okay. Okay, yeah. Okay, look. This function was used to evaluate a string as JavaScript code, but it is now considered, oh, this is JavaScript. But it's the same thing, Python eval function. Eval in Python. Here we go. All right. It says it somewhere. Here, pause, buddy. So eval is not much used due to security reasons as explored above. Okay, well, we're not going to explore it, but still it comes in handy in situations like these, all right? But the thing is, it's best to never use this because at some point, somebody could go into your code and inject malicious code into your eval. So we want to rarely, if ever, use eval for programs, right? I mean, it does say we can use it for math in this one. Eval is also sometimes used in applications needing to evaluate math expressions. This is much easier than writing an expression parser. And I'm sure that's true, but we're at the point of our careers where we don't know where it's good and where it's not. So we'll figure that out later. So we're just going to do this the longer way, all right? So for that, what we're going to do is we're going to iterate through this thing, and we're going to put this thing on one side plus on another, and then, or the operand in the middle and this on the other side, right? So let's go do that. First things first, we're going to iterate through this thing, right? So we're going to go by the indexes. So what we're going to need to do is use the range method on this, right? So, pardon me, the range function. So let's come over here and look up the range function because we didn't really go over it too much. Range Python in the original course. So let's come over here and see Python range function. Boom. All right, so the Python range function returns a sequence, come on, pause, a sequence of numbers in a given range. The most common use of it is to iterate sequences on a sequence of numbers using Python loops, all right? So we would do for I in range 5, print I, and the end will be a empty string with a space in it, right? And then when we print, we've got 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's pretty much it right there. And then each one of these is separated by a space, all right? So now that we see that, what we're going to do here, right here, is we're going to say for I in range, all right? And the range, as we can see, let's comment this out just for a second. As we can see, we've got these pairs, right? So it's going to be 0, 1. These two are together. 2, 3, those are together. 4, 5 are together. And 4, 5, 6, and 7 are together. So they're all paired up. So what we want to do is remember there's a step, right? It starts, we're going to start at 0, stop at the thing.length, and then we want to do a step, right? So the step is going to be 2 because at default it's just 1, one after the other. But we're going to go by 2, all right? So we're going to say here, then here. We're going to go here from 0 to 2 to 4 to 6 like that so that we can skip every odd one, all right? Hopefully that makes sense, but you'll see what I'm talking about in a second. So let's come back over here for I in range, and we're going to say we're going to start at 0, all right? Then we're going to go numbers dot length, excuse me. We're going to do len numbers, all right? So we're going to go to the length of the numbers list. And then we're going to do the step of 2. So we're going to skip 1 every time. All right, so I is first going to be 0, then 2, then 4, then 6. Okay? So now that we've got this, let's do that. We're starting at 0, 2, 4, 6. All right? What we're going to do here is we're going to say, we're going to declare a couple of number variables. So we'll say num1 equals, and this is going to equal numbers at I. Okay? And then num2 is going to equal numbers at I plus 1, all right? So this is going to be I, so 0 and 1. Let's come over here and actually we're going to append these. No. Actually, let's go through the operators list. Let's go operators like this, and we're also going to go through this operators list. So since we're doing it by 2s, we're going to, but we have to just go by 1 in this. We're going to say operator equals, and we'll say operators at 2 divided by 1, all right? But you see here we've got a problem because line 40, all right? List indices must be integers or slices, not floats, okay? So if we come down here into the print and we say type, and then we do 2 divided by 1, all right? And let's comment all these out. Let's do a pass right here first. Perhaps we forgot a comma. Print type, maybe we will wrap this in parentheses. No. Type 2 divided by 1. Also, it would be I divided by 1. Let's do this. Sorry about this. Let's bring this back, tab that over. Still no good. And we're going to be dividing by 2 also. What am I doing? How do we do the types in this thing? I forgot. Let's do this. No. Hold on. Let's do type function Python. Let's see if we can find that. Type function in Python. All right, so let's bring this together. Let's wrap this up in parentheses. Let's bring this together. Still no good. Anyway, what's the problem? 41. 41 right here. Operator equals operators. How do we get the type, though? Type operator. Anyway, the thing is, we have to make this an integer. It has to be an integer or slice, not float. So right now, this is a float. So we could do this. We could wrap this up and say int thusly, right? And you see it says class float right here when we do this print right here. Okay, so that's how we would have done it. But if we do this, it'll make an integer. But there's another thing we can do if we use floor division on this, like this. Check it out. If we do floor division like this, it'll turn it into an int automatically. So we can just skip this int part right here. So let's just get rid of that, and let's just put floor division right here, saving us a little space, all right? So let's get rid of this print, and there we go. So this is basically what we got. But as we can see here, we've got num. We know this. Anyway, let's get to that in a second. So now that we're here, what we're going to do is add these two together if there's a plus sign, and we're going to subtract them if there's a minus sign, right? So we'll come down here, and we're still inside the for loop, and we're going to say if. So if operator equals, double equals plus sign, okay? So if the operator, it's a print operator, tab this over, do this, put a pass on it. All right. So here's the operator right there. Let's bring this back one. Nope, that's not good enough. Bring this forward one. Let's bring this forward too. All right. So here's all the operators. So if the operator is a plus, like on this one, what we're going to do is we're going to return. No, we're not going to return. We're going to append into numbers. What are we going to do? We'll say, let's do this. Let's declare result variable, and that's going to equal num1 plus num2, all right? So, and then let's do an else right here. So if it's the minus sign, what we're going to do is say result equals num1 minus num2. And then what we'll do here is we're going to plug these into the answers list. So we'll say answers.append result, right? Result. Oh, yeah. Wrap this in parentheses. Bring this back one. All right, so now we've got a problem. So unsupported operand types for minus, str, and str, all right? So the thing is, what we've got a problem with is that these are strings. These are string because we know that it's taking them from the string that's the original thing and putting strings in here. So we got to make these into integers. So what we're going to do is we're going to wrap this thing up in parentheses and do the int on that. And we'll do the same thing with this second one, all right? Because we can't add strings together, all right? So now we've got that. And so when we say print over here, answers, we can see all the answers are printed right there. We got 730, 37.99. So look at this. This minus 2, this plus this there, this plus this there. All right. So now we've got a list of all the answers like that. So we've taken care of the evaluation part of the thing. All right. So let's come down here and let's do the next thing. All right. On 51, we're going to do hashtag. We're going to do number 6. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to format these rows, all right, to get them to where they're right justified, and this one's on top of this. Well, not really, and where they're right justified, and there's all these spaces right here, and then all these dashes and spaces and all that stuff, right? So what we'll come down here is we'll say number 6, formatting problem rows, all right? So the first thing we're going to do here, and we're still going to be inside the for loop because we don't have to get out of this thing just yet because we're still messing with each one of these one at a time, right? Let's get rid of this answers thing. What we're going to do here is we'll start off by declaring a space width thing so that we can get from the plus sign to the last digit with the space, all right? So for that, we'll declare space underscore width, all right? And so what that's going to equal, we're going to do the max function like we learned in the last one, max. And what we're going to do is we're going to try to figure out if this one is bigger than this one or if this one's bigger than this one. So we're going to start off by saying max len, and then we'll do numbers at I, all right? So we're still in the one that's skipping each second one, right? We were going up by twos. So numbers at 0, the numbers at 2, the numbers at 4. So we got numbers at I right here. And then we're also going to check len of numbers at I plus 1, right? And let's get rid of this thing over here so that we can see it a little bit better, right? So we're down here. So we've got len numbers at I, len numbers I plus 1, okay? So now that we've got that, actually, let's close this one off. Let's close this one off. I was doing it inside of this one. All right, so now that we've got this, what we're going to do is we're also going to add 2 to this, all right? Because we know we've got the length of it, plus we've got this space for the operator and this space for the space between the operator and the operand, right? So we'll come down here and we'll say len, the max of these two, plus, where are we? Plus 2, all right? So let's come down here and say print, we'll say print space underscore width, all right? So we've got 5 for the first one, 6, 4, and 5, right? We've got 3 plus 2, we've got 4 plus 2, we've got 2 plus 2, and we've got 3 plus 2, right? So that's what these are. These are all the widths, all right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to do the bottom row, the top row, and the dashes, right? So let's do, actually, not in that order, though. Let's do top row, bottom row, and dashes. And all these, we're going to do plus equals with them. So let's just grab all 3 of these. We'll grab this one here, double click it. Then we'll hold down Alt, double click this one, copy it. We'll come down here under space width. We'll drop it off, and then we'll get these 2 and tab them over twice, right? So let's, at the end of 52, let's hold down Alt after clicking it, then this one, then this one. Then we're going to say plus equals, and then what they're going to all plus equals is something, right? But we'll get to that in just a second. So the first one, we want it to equal the, pardon me. What do we want to do? We want it to equal the number, right? We want the top row to be the number itself, like the 301 or 3801 or the 45 or whatever. So we want it to equal number. So numbers at I, all right? And then we also want to justify the thing. So we've got this thing over here called rjust, and we didn't learn about it, but I figured it out over here, while researching this thing. So we got this rjust thing right here, this rjust method. Let's come open that up right here. And the rjust method returns a new string of a given length after substituting a given character on the left side of the original string. Right? That being said, what we're going to be doing is we'll have the syntax is going to be string.rjust, so the number.rjust, and then we'll do the length, and then we'll do the fill character as well, right? So we're not really going to do the fill character. We're just going to be worried about the length, all right? So for this one, we'll say numbers at I.rjust, all right? And for the length we're going to put in there is going to be the space width that we calculated up here. So we'll grab that and we'll drop this here, right? Whoop, not like that though. Right here. So it's going to be the numbers. So let's say it's this one right here. It's going to be 32, right justified. And then it's going to have 2 spaces in front of the 32 because that's going to be the default fill string, the default fill character, right? So now that we've got that one, we'll do the same for the bottom row. We're going to say, but we're going to also have the operator too. So we'll start with the operator, all right? So with the plus, the minus, whatever, the operator, and then we're going to add numbers at I plus 1 because we know that we've already got the I right here. So this is the second one in our little pairing. Numbers at I plus 1, all right? And then we'll do the .rjust space width. So let's grab this part and add it here, all right? And then let's comment this out so we can test this, all right? So now that we've got this, let's print bottom row to see what let's print top row to start with. Top row. All right, no, that's not it. Actually, let's just double click. double click, copy, come down here, paste, all right? So we can see the top row is like this. We got 32, then we got the 2 spaces with the 3801, then the 2 spaces and blah, 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 all right? So we got that. So let's look at bottom row. All right? So now we've got this thing right here. It looks a little bit weak, let's say, for lack of a better word. Let's say that looks a little weak, all right? And the main reason it looks weak is we know that this 698 is the bigger one here, but it's got 2 spaces in between, right? It needs just 1. Well, the thing about that, the only way to really fix that is just to subtract 1 from this space width, all right? So we're gonna say space width right here minus 1 like that. And now we can see it's got the plus, this right here, and then this. And then this one is not the bigger one, so it's gonna have a bunch of spaces in between, but this one is the same length as, so 43 is the same length as 45, so there's a space here. And this one's also the smaller one here, so we can't really count. But anyway, so that's basically what's going on there. So now we've got the bottom row set up. So now let's do the answers row, right? Answers row. No. We're going to do dashes for this last one. We're going to take care of answers row by itself. So let's get dashes. Trade out this answers row for dashes, right? Like that, right? And now we're going to take care of the dashes because, I mean, you know, dashes are next. Answer row is down here, and we got to do something special for that anyway, right? So let's come back over here. Let's bring this back over and start with this, all right? So for the dashes, all we really got to do is just add, just have the string with the dash in it, like this. And, you know, in JavaScript, we would do like dot repeat space width, but in Python, we don't have to do the dot repeat. All we have to do is say times space width, and it does the exact same thing. It knows that it's going to repeat this. It's going to repeat whatever string we have right here, space width, or whatever value amount of times, right? So now when we come over here to dashes, we can see we've got all these right here. Now they're not split up, just like these ones weren't split up, but we'll split those up in just a little bit, right? So that's pretty much it for the formatting of the rows. So now let's start with the number 7, #7. Whoops, come on. And we're going to do spacing between problems. That's not how you spell it. Between problems, all right? So that way we can add the spaces in between these. So for this one, what we're going to do is another if statement, okay? And the reason we're doing an if statement is because if we look here over on the examples, we've got the spaces here, we've got the spaces here, the 4 spaces here, and the 4 spaces here, but we don't have them after and we don't have them before, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to put them after, but we're going to make sure on this last one, we're not going to put them after. So for that, what we're going to do is we're going to come down here and we will say if, and we'll go say if I, the index, is not equal to len numbers. And usually we would do length of numbers minus 1, right? Because it's usually, this is the last one. So we're going to the last one. But as we remember, we're stepping by 2. So we'll say length of numbers minus 2 on this, right? So that's going to target the last one. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to get the bottom row, the top row, the bottom row, and the dashes. We'll get all 3 of these with the little, and the space one on. With the whole Alt key held down, all 3 of these, copy them, drop them off right here, right? Tab these 2 over, 1, 2, 3, like that. And what we're going to do here is we're going to add the same thing. So let's just hold down Alt for all 3 of these, and we're going to have space inside of a string, and then we're going to multiply them. Multiply them by 4, right? So again, instead of repeat, we're just going to multiply it by 4 and it'll know. And you can see right here, now we've got all of these separated by 4 spaces, right? And it's not doing the, that's a bad example. Trust me, it's not doing them over there because as long as they're not the last one, it's doing it, all right? So this one's pretty much taken care of right now. We can go on to the 8th part. So let's come down here. And for this 8th part, we're going to do a new for loop. So let's say number 8. And for this one, what we're going to do is format the values, all right? So we're going to format them to look, what are we trying to do here? We're going to format the answers row, actually. We're going to format this right here, okay? Because as we know, it doesn't have the, the operands or anything, the operators or anything like that. So what we're going to do here, and plus these are also in the answers list, these are also integers, and these aren't strings, but we do need them to be strings to make this happen. All right, so that being said, let's take care of that down here. So what we're going to do is we'll say number 8, formatting answers row. All right, and we'll start over here, and we're going to start off with a for loop, and we'll say for, and we're going to do the same range thing. So we'll say I in range, and this time we're just going to go through the len of answers. All right, because we don't need to do any skips by 2 or anything like that, because we're just going through one list full of answers. Let's bring this back, drop it down 1, put answers there, and answers, put pass here, pass. All right, and remember we've got the answers right here, so we're going to iterate one through another, one after another. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to do the same space width thing. So we'll get this, we'll get space width right here, copy that, replace this pass with space width, and what we're going to do is another length, another max, and this time we're just going to do max len numbers, and we'll do since we're going to be comparing numbers first, so because we got to do the max of the numbers, and since we're not in here, we're going to have to do 2 times I. All right, we're going to say 2 times I, just like we would step by 2. We're going to have to do 2 times I. So it's going to be 0 first, 2 times 0, 2 times 1, 2 times 2, 2 times 3, and whatnot. So we're checking if this length is bigger, or if len numbers, let's just take this home. What am I doing? If this is bigger, 2 times I plus 1, right? So this is going to be 0 times I plus 1. So index 1, index 3, index 5, index 7, and so on, right? So we're checking if these are bigger, and what we're going to do is we're going to add 2 to it, just like we did up here. So plus 2, all right? So now when we come in here and we say print space width, we can see we've got 5, 6, 4, 5 again, just like we had up here, right? So now what we're going to do is we could have, Well, we could have probably done this inside of here by using some floor division like we did here, but I didn't think about that. Anyway, whatever. We're going to do it this way. So what we're going to do here is we're going to say, now that we've got that, we're going to iterate through the answers. All right, let's go answers. So we're going to iterate through this list right here. All right. So for that, we're going to say answer row. We'll get this right here. Where's answer row? Oh, we're just going to, what are we doing here? Give me a second. Okay. All right. My bad. I didn't even, I'm so, anyway, it doesn't matter. No excuses. So yeah, we're going to use answer row right here. So we're going to say here's answer row. Let's take that, copy it, come down here. All right. And so now what we're going to do here is we're going to do the plus equals thing like we did before. And what we're going to do is we're going to say answers at I. So answers, do we have answers anywhere? Answers right here. We'll take that. Answers at I dot are just, and we'll do space with. Let's take that. But you see, we've got a problem because int object has no attribute are just, because integers cannot be right justified. We have to turn this into a string. Okay. So for this one, what we're going to do is we'll wrap answers up at I up in parentheses, because we know all the answers in that answer list are going to be the results of a calculation, making them all integers. So we'll call this str in front of it. And so now we've got that. So let's come over here and let's print answers row like that. And so now we've got all these answers thusly, just like that, all spaced out how we need them to be. All right. And now what we're going to, well, not spaced out as we need them to be, because now what we're going to do inside of this for loop is the ninth thing, which is we are going to do hashtag 9. So number 9, we're going to say spacing between answers. All right. So what we're going to do here, no, actually it is better to do this in its own thing, because that way we can just iterate through. We don't have to do like floor division on this so many times. Anyway, so let's just keep going. So what we're going to do for spacing in between the answers is we're going to say if, just like we did up here. Actually, we can just take this. Why not? And we'll just change it to 1 instead of 2, since we're only doing steps by 1. We'll drop this here. Turn this to 1. Call lin answers instead of numbers. Answers instead of numbers. And down here inside of this, what we're going to do is we'll say answer row plus equals. Grab this. Drop it. Grab this. Drop it. All right. So it's just like this up here. So now we can see the answer rows are spaced out like we need them to be. So now we can do the 10th thing. All right. Which is the final thing as well. So let's do hashtag 10. And we're going to say final arrangement and return. All right. So for this one, what we're going to do is we're going to do the thing where we check if show answers is there or not. Okay. And if it is, we're going to do, if it is there, if show answers is there, we're going to do it with the answers at the bottom. And if not, we're going to do it without. So we'll come back over here and we're going to have an if statement to start off with. We're going to go over here. We're outside of the for loop and we're going to say if show answers exists. All right. Show answers exists. What we're going to do is we'll say arranged problems. We'll just declare this arranged problems thing right here. Arranged underscore problems equals. All right. And so we're going to start off by doing a line break. All right. So we'll do a string with backslash in like this. And what we're going to do is we're going to join that together with these things right here. Right. So we'll say dot join, and we'll have inside of these parentheses, what are we going to do? Top row, we'll hold down alt, bottom row, dashes, and we'll also join answers row, right? So we'll copy this with a Control-C, drop it off here in join. And then we'll go down, we'll hit end, comma, space, delete, end, comma, space, delete, end, comma, space, delete, like that. And now if we go, now we'll say down here, we'll do an else. And so if this is false, we'll do the same thing here. We'll just get rid of the answers row, all right? Just back this up and we'll get rid of the answers row right here, all right? And so now what we can do is just return arranged problems. Like that. And you can see this is not right. What's the problem here? All right, so this is almost good, but not great, because the dashes are not where they should be. The answers are on top. Okay, let's not print the answers wrong. Oh, yeah, never mind. Okay, yeah, so it should look like this. All right, and then if we come up here and say, if we come over to this function call, actually, what I want to do is take this out. See if we can get away with taking this out. No, we can't. So we need it like that. Okay, so we need this thing to look like this, unlike in JavaScript, where we can just slap them all in there, right? So let's put after this, we're in this arranger. We will say after this bracket, we'll do a comma, and we'll do true like that. And you can see we've got the answers right there. All right, so this is what it should look like, hopefully. So let's come over here and let's go to the instructions. Let's keep this open and let's run the test. Now, what's wrong? Arithmetic arranger should return error cannot be more than 4 digits. Okay, so something's wrong. All right, so I'm going to do one of those things where we do the sometime later and be right back. I'm going to go check this out, see what's the problem is. All right, give me a second. All right, so I'm back. ChatGPT says it might be this part right here that I changed up. So what we're going to do is we'll bring this back like this. And let's see if this works. I didn't check it in while I was checking it out. So let's run the test. Still no good. All right. So let's change that up to how I had it in rehearsal. All right. So let's do a for loop and do this stuff here. So let's let's drop this down, bring it back. We're on the check operand length. All right. So what we'll do here is we'll say for numbers in numbers, all right? For number in numbers. We'll get the if while we're at it. Why not? For number in numbers, we'll drop this here, all right? And what we will say is if num length, if len number, okay, when we'll get this, we'll just bring this up like that. And that should take care of it. If not, I'll have to go and check again. So let's run the test. Still no good. Numbers cannot be more than 4 digits. What's wrong here? Look. It says it's cool. It also says it's cool. What's the problem? All right. We're going to do, I'll do another sometime later. And I'll check this out and check GPT. Give me a second. All right, I'm back. Okay, the problem was there's no S on the end of these numbers. All right, so let's back this up to what it was before this. And let's change it to, whoa. That's not how we back it up. Okay, back it up. All right. Back it up. Oh, man. We're going to do that elif anyway. I don't care. All right, so we'll do elif because it should have been numbers must only contain, right? So we'll do elif like this. We'll grab this. Actually, we'll get this out of here. We'll grab this and delete everything up to here. No. Let's grab this, bring it up here, grab this, bring it up here, all right? Get this, delete it, put S on the end of both of these. And now let's check it out. All right, there we go. Anyway, so there we go. I'm going to do a little slow scroll so you guys can check it out all you want. Here's the first 28 lines. Let's go down. Here's the next ones. You can pause 29 through 57. Pause. You can check it out. 57 through 58 through 80. All right. So there we go. Finally finished. Let's run it again. Looks good. And submit it. All right. So that's the end of build an arithmetic formatter project. So now we're going to be on to learn regular expressions by building a password generator. And we'll see you next time.